You accomplished something I didn't anticipate, dear child, and I want you to know that it's a big deal. I've been seeing you for a very long time, and I've seen every pattern and every well-known loop you've repeatedly traversed. The way you react when you're hurt, how you back off when you're afraid, and how you've learned to shrink yourself in order to maintain harmony. My dear, I am familiar with your rhythms. Since I created you, I am familiar with them. However, what you recently did wasn't typical. You didn't act in the same manner as before. You didn't fold. You did not vanish. You didn't swallow your comments and act as like nothing was wrong when it was obviously not. I must admit that I was sincerely moved by your different decision. Not because I didn't think you could, but rather because I wasn't certain you thought you could. You've been questioning your instincts, doubting your value, and persuading yourself that your voice wasn't important enough to use for a very long time, dear heart. Then you spoke, even though everything inside of you was screaming to keep quiet, to be cautious, to put everyone else's comfort ahead of your own. Or perhaps you didn't say anything. Perhaps you just quit explaining yourself to individuals who weren't truly listening, walked away, set a boundary, or said no. I know you don't feel brave, but whatever it was courageous. You're unsteady. You think you could have erred. You're mentally going over it again, scrutinizing every word, wondering if you were too harsh, too self-centered, or too much. You're waiting for the other shoe to fall, for the fallout, for evidence that you ought to have remained quiet and modest like you always have. Every word you hear, dear family, is crafted with the intention of reaching someone at the appropriate time. The support link can be found in the description and comment section if you feel inspired to join this quest. We are disseminating something significant together. Can I tell you what I saw, though, my child? I witnessed you ultimately make your own decision. Instead of being self-centered and ignoring everyone else, it was a way of saying, I matter, too, in a manner that conveyed the idea that my feelings are valid. I don't have to keep shrinking to make room for people who don't make room for me. The statement read, and you don't comprehend how courageous that was. Because you started this year as a different version of yourself than the one who made that decision. Something has changed. Not in a single day. I understand that it seems abrupt to you, like if you suddenly lost it. But you didn't lose it, sweetheart. You developed. Something was growing inside of you during all those quiet times when you thought nothing was going on, when you were simply getting by and trying to figure out why everything felt so difficult. A distinct kind of power, not the boisterous, theatrical kind, the foundational, calm type, the kind that doesn't make an announcement, the sort that surprises even you and just appears one day when you need it most. You've become so accustomed to giving in, allowing others to cross your boundaries, and enduring treatment that you would never tolerate on behalf of a loved one. You've been the one to compromise, make accommodations, and make things work for years, even at your own expense. That was love. You persuaded yourself. That was maturity. That's what decent people do. But goodness doesn't need to be erased, dear one. You are not asked to become a doormat by love. Furthermore, being mature, but you've spent your entire life acting fake, my dear. Pretending to be all right when you're crumbling. When you're craving connection, you pretend you don't need anything. Pretending that being treated as if you're optional doesn't hurt. You've paid a price for that pretense. Your vitality, sincerity, and sense of self beneath all the roles you perform have all been lost as a result. You recently stopped faking, even for a brief period of time. And it matters at that precise moment. It's important because it revealed something you needed to see. That you can endure the disappointment of others. That even in awkward situations, you can maintain your position. That you don't need to have the ideal explanation or all the proper words to recognize that something isn't right.